Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 19 of Season 3 NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Kingsford 200 here at Road America, as we are getting set for 10 laps of racing here at this 4-mile road course. Now, before we look at the starting lineup, let's take a look at how the point standings look coming into the race today. So after last week's chaotic affair at Daytona, James Qualls leads the points by 11 points over David Rivera. Third is Dylan Jacobs. Fourth is Charles Sanford. Fifth, Johnny Gardner. Sixth is Matt McIntyre. Seventh, Dylan Young. Eighth, Zach Flickinger. Ninth, Benjamin Miles. And then 10th, Emmanuel Hartnett. Currently the two wildcard drivers, if the chase were to begin now, the two wildcard drivers that are highest outside the top 10, that is inside the top 30, with a win, is Joshua Sekuli and Pichu London. They are 12th and 14th in points respectively. But plenty of time ahead for changes to that interesting situation involving the wildcard drivers. But let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row is Kyle Keith and Phil Parker. Top 10, Dougie Shears is on the pole for today. Starting next to him is Tim Fiegel. Row 2 is William Brock, Jessica Shelton. Row 3, Dorian Facepuncher, Joshua Sekuli. Row 4, Matt Haas, Anthony McCrory. And then row 5, Dylan Young and Dylan Thoreau. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the Kingsford 200 at Road America.
Drivers, start your engines!
So yeah, there was the command, and now these drivers are going through for their quarter pace lap. So the big thing that's going to come into play for this race is pit strategy. When will these drivers come down pit road? Who is going to try and risk it and stay out in the end? That is if we end up having that situation where we're going to see a lot of drivers stay out or come in all at once. And I saw some contact. It looked like it was Johnny Gardner and somebody, as the field didn't quite get bunched up properly in the back. But boogity boogity boogity, let's go racing. So Dougie Shears led lap number 1 and has a near 1.5 second lead already over the 01 of William Brock, who during that first lap managed to get around the driver in the outside of row 1, Tim Fiegel. Sekuli actually moved up to 4th in that exchange. Jessica Sheldon still up here in the top 5 as, like I said, things did get shuffled up quite a good bit on lap 1, but now things have spread out to more or less single file racing. Trying to see the closest battle. This is the closest battle we have, and that's Jay Jefferson in the 5 battling Chris Michaels, or at least it was, and now it's Charles Sanford and Chris Michaels battling for position. I believe this is somewhere in the top 20, yeah, around 18th place. Sanford on the inside of the 17, but the 17's going to get the inside back here in this corner, and Sanford nearly went up into the grass and almost into the gravel. He did touch the grass there. Oh, and then he goes into the gravel, and now he's going to lose a couple spots, but he somehow kept it together and is still going. That was a close call for Charles Sanford, 4th in points. As we get back up here at the front, you can definitely tell the 83 has checked out big time. It's like he's in his own little euphoric temple right now of just staying up at the front, although he did get the grass there a little bit, but he's still going straight. Let's see the margin this time. Over 2 seconds now between the top 2. And Tim Fiegel's actually fallen back to 5th, so he got passed by 2 cars in that. And he might end up getting passed by another car because Dylan Thoreau is right on the tail of the 8 car. So you gotta wonder if perhaps there's something up with the 8 car, because look at his lap times in comparison to everyone else. He is a second and a half off of pretty much everyone else. So that tells me something must be up with his car, or he's over driving parts of the racetrack and he's just losing it a bit. But up here we got a battle for second that's getting ready to brew, or at least it was. And that's William Brock in the 01 and the 79 of Joshua Sekuli. Looked like Sekuli had a big enough run, but managed to get into the grass a little bit, and it cost him a little bit of time. Although he's gaining a little bit of time back, because the 01 actually did go into the grass for a second, and the 79 kept his car on the racetrack. But yeah, William Brock, I believe this is only his 8th or 9th start this season, and he has been looking for a good finish. And right now he's in second, but that spot may be challenged by the 79, because 79 is all over the back bumper of the 01, and also battle going on for 4th. Tim Fiegel trying to go on by Jessica Sheldon to get that spot back. And then you got a battle for 6th between Dylan Thoreau and I believe that is Matt Haas. But now all those battles have been combined into one, so we got perhaps a big battle that's going to happen for the 4th position, as meanwhile the lead that Dougie Shears has on the 01 is now grown to nearly 3 seconds. Now William Brock starting to pull away a little bit from Sekuli. But Sekuli isn't going to give up easily. And also it looks like Anthony McCrory has gone by Matt Haas for the 7th position on track. Looking around to see how any other battles are ensuing. And we got this one going on. This one's for the 13th spot. Mark Lane and Dylan Young battling, but Dylan Young is going to zip on by because Mark Lane got into the grass. Johnny Gardner way off track, but keeps it together. Oh, Jay Jefferson took that corner really wide. Oh, go, and he saves it. Oh, there goes a car. That's Chris Dollarton, and somehow didn't hit nothing, and he's still going. But he lost quite a few positions as a result of all that. But man, that was a weird ride right there. Back up here towards the front, however, Sekuli has lost a ton of ground to the 01 of William Brock. And now, at least he did have a challenge at one point. And oh, some cars in the pit road, or starting to get in the pit road. I believe that's Matt Haas, the first one that's deciding to come in. And so here, and also here comes Gardner. Looks like Flickinger's coming in. And is that, yeah, that's Trent Dunham. Chris Dollarton is in. Matt McIntyre. Kyle Keith is entering. There's Jake Rogers. Quite a bunch of drivers decided to come into pit road pretty early on before we get to the halfway point. So that tells me they may have to pit one more time unless some cars are going to try and risk it and make it a one-stop race. But yeah, like I said, pit strategy was going to be a big factor here in this race today. As up here at the front, Dougie Shears has a 4.5 second lead over William Brock, who's now under attack from Sekuli again, and Sekuli is right here. Oh, but he took that corner really wide, but is he still going to get a run? He does a little bit, but William Brock does clear him. As meanwhile, Tim Fiegel did manage to clear Jessica Shelton for 4th, and he's trying to reel in the top 2 so he can, or not the top 2, but 2nd and 3rd so he can get up to 2nd. Jessica Shelton took that corner really wide, and that brings Dylan Thoreau up to her back bumper for the 5th position. As like I was about to say, things are getting really racy up here from 2nd on back, while the lead has been growing ever since the start of the race. Watching Dougie Shears, he's going to sacrifice potentially the lead to go into pit road. Is everybody else behind him coming in? So far, everyone is coming in along with him. Are there going to be any people that stay out? Dylan Young's going to stay out. This is going to be interesting strategy on the part of the two. Because, like I was saying, if everyone has to pit one more time before the race is over, and Dylan Young elects to stay out, he could run away with the win, potentially. There's some damage to Phil Parker's machine. That should, oh, and we already got 2 cars out of the race from some wrecks that might have happened. DJ Curtis and Kyle Matthews have crashed. And Phil Parker suffered damage, so he must have been involved in whatever happened. Oh, and we got a car upside down, and that's Tim Fiegel. Something has happened off of the exit of pit road. And the 8 of Tim Fiegel is damaged goods, and that just caused a gigantic shakeup in the field. Because some cars had to be stopped on pit road because of what happened to the 8. And now a lot of the cars that pitted in that first group are going by everyone else. For the most part, that is. But man, that is a bizarre turn of events right there, as Tim Fiegel was upside down coming off of pit road, held up everyone on pit road and caused a massive stack up. But right now, still the leader is Dylan Young. But is he going to come in the pit road this time, as we are coming to pit road again? And there he goes. So like I said, you gotta wonder if Dougie Shears and everyone else are going to have to pit one more time, perhaps on the last lap. And if that happens, Dylan Young could come home with the win, because he's only going to pit once because he's pitting past the halfway point. But then again, I think Dougie Shears might be able to make it because he pitted on lap 5 going into lap 6. But you never know what can happen. But yeah, Dylan Young had the lead. Can he come out ahead, though, is the big question. But he better hurry. Otherwise, he's going to get passed, and it's going to be close. And this is a potential fight for the lead. Dylan Young does get bypassed, but we may have a new leader, and that's Joshua Sekuli. He somehow got by the 83 of Dougie Shears on track. So perhaps some drivers have made adjustments to their cars to make them better, and Sekuli seems to have had something up his sleeve, and now Dylan Thoreau's going to potentially go on by Dougie Shears as well. Same with Matt Haas. Dougie Shears, he's slow on track. I don't know if they did decide to not do any adjustments and he's starting to slip back because everyone else did make adjustments. But yeah, he goes from being the dominant car of the day to falling back to potentially 6th place. Maybe even 7th if Flickinger has anything to say. Because he's up here right behind the 83 as well, next to the 31. But yeah, like I said, that was a bizarre turn of events right there for Tim Fiegel. He was top 5 all day, and then ends up upside down, coming off a pit road and causing a massive ripple effect throughout the field. Yeah, the field got shuffled big time after those pit stops, as well as the incident with Tim Fiegel. But let's do a full field rundown now that we're coming to 3 laps to go. Let's do the full field rundown as to where every driver is running currently. So right now, Joshua Sekuli is the leader. 2nd is Dylan Thoreau. 3rd is Matt Haas. 4th is Zach Flickinger. 5th is Dylan Poteet. 6th is Dougie Shears. 7th, Dylan Young. 8th, Trent Dunham. 9th, Matt McIntyre. 10th, Chris Dollerton. What a comeback run for Dollerton after nearly crashing. He's up here in the top 10. 11th is Preston Plore. 12th is Kyle Keefe. 13th, Jake Rogers. 14th, Jessica Shelton. 15th, Dorian Facepuncher. 16th is Paul Minnick. 17th, William Brock. 18th, Andrew Rich. 19th... Wait a second. I thought I saw a car up there. Never mind. So anyways, I believe we were at... let me go back to outside the top 10. So yeah, it's Plord, Keith, 11th, 12th, then 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th is Andrew Rich, 18th is Jay Jefferson, 19th William Brock, 20th Benjamin Miles, 21st is Sean Galligan, 22nd Dylan Jacobs, 23rd Mark Lane, 24th Seth Cole, 25th is Charles Sanford, 26th Emmanuel Hartnett, 27th Anthony McCrory, 28th David Rivera, 29th James Qualls, 30th Rafael Leduc, 31st Jake Baskinger, 32nd is Jonathan Zorling, 33rd is Chris Michaels, 34th Carson Gum, 35th Austin LaPlante, 36th Johnny Gardner, 37th James McLeod, and then still on pit road is Tim Fiegel, who would be scored 39th right now because we got a couple more cars that retired from something. Peachy London and Phil Parker. Back up at the front, however, Joshua Sekuli somehow, someway extended his lead to nearly 5 seconds, and Dylan Poteet is somehow up to 2nd. Dylan Young is now up here. So this is potentially a three-way fight for... second. Wait, did Matt Haas come into pit road? Maybe that could explain it? Oh no, he might have either gone through pit road or he somehow nearly crashed. But I'm more dead set on potentially the fact that he came in the pit road. And now he's blending in with everyone that's towards the back of the field. Yeah, in fact, I do think he is. I do think he did. I do think he pitted. But now you gotta wonder if guys like the 79, the 31, the 11 are gonna have to come in the pit road this time by, and that could hand the win over to Dylan Young, because remember, he pitted past the halfway point, so he's pretty much good on fuel. But I'm more worried about these other drivers up here at the front. We're getting close to finding out. Alright, we're coming through. Let's see if the 79's going to come in. No, he's going to stay out. He's going to try and risk it. How about the 31? He's going to try. Same with the 11. And the white flag is out. So Matt Haas and a bunch of others couldn't come in. Couldn't keep it up on gas. But everyone else is going to try and risk it. But no pun intended, this is a risky strategy for some of these drivers that did pit immediately after Matt Haas. As the white flag is displaying for everyone else that's not past the line. But yeah, the top 10 has definitely changed. Dylan Jacobs somehow finds himself up here in the 10th spot. And a bunch of other drivers have moved up quite a good bit. As I'm trying to get back up to the leader, there he is, Sekuli. Still hanging on by a little under 5 seconds. Poteet having a solid run right now. We got triple Dylans up here in second, third, and fourth, with another Dylan in 10th. So all the Dylans, the Dylan gang, all running in the top 10 right now. Poteet in second, Thoreau in third, Young fourth, and then Jacobs right here in 10th. Just trying to get back to Sekuli as we're getting ready. I think we're coming through to the final corner. And indeed we are. So we're coming through the final corner. Looks like he is going to make it for the rest of the way. Checkered flag is getting ready to wave. And to get his second ever win this season, Joshua Sekuli wins the Kingsford 200 at Road America. The Daytona 500 winner finally gets his second win this season, and I believe third overall. What a job in that second half for the 79 team. Somehow managed to get by the other dominant car, Dougie Shears, and get to the front and stay at the front. But man, you gotta wonder how close these drivers were on gas. But let's look at the rest of the results. Dylan Poteet with a phenomenal run in second. Dylan Thoreau comes through in third. Dylan Young, who I thought could have won this race if everyone else had pitted, he finishes in fourth. And then Dougie Shears, who was the dominant car of the race, finishes in the fifth position. Jessica Sheldon finished out in sixth. Paul Minnick with a solid run in seventh. Dorian Facepuncher in eighth. Great run for Jay Jefferson in ninth. And then Dylan Jacobs rounds out the top 10. Rest of the top 20, at least I'm thinking this is officially scored. Seth Cole, Mark Lane, Charles Sanford, David Rivera, James Qualls, Matt Haas, Emmanuel Hartnett, Rafael LeDuc, Jake Baskinger, Chris Michaels. Then the top 30 was Anthony McCrory, Austin LaPlante, Jonathan Zorline, Zach Flickinger, Trent Dunham, Matt McIntyre, Chris Dollerton, Johnny Gardner, Jake Rogers, and Preston Plord. And then everybody else that finished the race were William Brock, Kyle Keith, Andrew Rich, Sean Galligan, Benjamin Miles, Carson Gum, and James McLeod. I think Sekuli has just now run out of gas. So they were barely good to go on gas for the finish. And then everybody else was out of the race after some wrecks that occurred. Pichu London, Tim Fiegel, Phil Parker, DJ Curtis, and Kyle Matthews. Well, that does it for our coverage here today here at Road America, as we had an interesting race to say the least. Next week we return back to Pocono for the Pennsylvania 400. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Pocono, and this is Levi McIntyre signing off.